Hello and welcome to your guide to making house hunting fun. And today your guide is Jeanette. Jeanette, hello.
Hello, here to make house hunting fun.
Yeah, so Jeanette is our resident social chair, and I've got to imagine she is one of the most fun people to house hunt with. So today she's going to give you some tips on how to make what can be a long, tiring day, how to make that fun. So Jeanette, before we get started though, so everyone can get to know you a little bit, if you were in a neighborhood, any neighborhood in the world or in Atlanta, what would be your spirit neighborhood? What neighborhood would you be?
Okay, I thought a lot about this, and I have two. So I was going to say either London or Boston.
Hmm.
Both, I really like older cities. I'm a big architecture fan,
Hmm.
um, but also I'm very much a social person. I like being in a big city. So I think it would be one of those two.
I like it. I'll let you go with two, Jeanette. Yeah,
Okay.
I'll let that slide. All right.
One in
So,
America, one across the pond.
so Jeanette, we've talked on our guide about how to have a successful house hunting day. But one thing we didn't talk about was, especially if someone is on their first time out or they're moving to Atlanta, that day can be long. What are some things that could make the day both more enjoyable and thus also ending up being more effective?
Right.
What about that?
Yeah. I mean, I would say get some rest. I mean, you don't want to be exhausted. Have a nice cup of coffee. But if we're going to be seeing a lot of places, I always tell people that, I mean, that is the fun part. So enjoy it. It can be a little bit stressful once we go under contract and we're having to negotiate repairs. But now is the time to really kind of play house hunter and, go point out what you like and dislike and really see yourself in the house. So from my perspective, what I try to do to make sure that it's the best day possible, obviously, is just to do the preparation on the front end. Make sure I have all the information on the houses, make sure I have all of the alarm codes to the houses.
That
Um,
is a way. That is definitely a way to make the day
yeah.
enjoyable. Boy, when you set off that alarm, that is not enjoyable.
Oh, yeah. And you never forget once you do it. But I mean, if we're seeing a lot of places, what I like to do, let's say it's a relocation buyer, I will always, if we're going through different neighborhoods, I will tell them, my favorite restaurants in those neighborhoods,
Yep.
my favorite activities in those specific areas. And then what I want to make sure that we're doing is kind of breaking up the day so that you remember everything. Because once you've seen, 6 or 7 houses in a 5-hour span of time, they can start to kind of blend together.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I always try to make specific notes while we're in each house, to remind them of, this house had the fun backyard that you really liked or, whatever it might be. And then take a break in the middle of the day, maybe take an hour break, get some lunch, grab another coffee if you're me, have some time to kind of regroup, and then get back to it.
Yeah. I think those are some great tips. The naming of the houses. I feel like a lot of times I had, clients who would do that. That's
Mhm.
also something for the sellers to remember because you don't want to be the house with the red bathroom, right? You want to
Yeah.
be the house with the great backyard, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. I mean, sometimes, yeah, I was going to say sometimes when you remember something, it's because it's really a little off. So you don't want it to be that one. You want it to be the house with the awesome open kitchen for entertaining or whatever it might be. But yeah, just picking up on little tidbits throughout the day.
When you're touring people around the neighborhoods, do you guys ever stop? Do you ever have clients that want to actually stop and like, hey, let's go in here or let's go see this? Do people ever want to tour the neighborhoods in addition to the houses?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if there's a cool little, at least drive by, if there's like a cool square area, or, a group of restaurants or something, I'll have a lot of people, especially relocation buyers who maybe are only here for a day or two, that really want to get to know the area and kind of walk it a little bit as well as the houses that they're looking at.
What do you think are the max number of houses someone can see in a day, under normal circumstances? Not like, hey, I'm here for one day only, so I
Right.
have to spend every hour. But if you could say, hey, there you can go back out tomorrow or the next day, what's the max number of houses someone could see?
I think probably 6 or 7. And then I think I do notice, and maybe this is me with my memory particularly, but I think that for most buyers, I think it gets a little bit foggy once you're seeing more than 6 or 7 in a day. And that makes the decision process a little bit harder too. So,
And that's especially true, I think, if you're looking at similar houses. So if
yes.
the houses are, all built in the 90s and they're all kind of the same. Boy, it can be hard to remember,
Right.
To remember those houses.
Right.
What else makes the day fun? Do you like to ride together with your clients, or do you like to ride separately? I know a lot of agents have different theories on that. What do you like to do?
I think it depends. With my buyers that, like I said, if someone is only here for a set number of days, I do want to ride with them I want to play tour guide and I want to show them around the city. And I think that just helps. I grew up in Atlanta. And so I think that, being able to show off that you are a local expert and kind of, show them your favorite places that maybe aren't the touristy places, I think can really be super helpful for someone who is looking to live there. So if it's a buyer like that, I do like to ride together. And if not, it just depends. Sometimes people like to have their separate time to, talk amongst themselves about the last houses. But like I said, I'm a social person, so I do like to ride together.
We are so similar in that regard. I want to hear what they're saying about the house because I'm curious and I want to be in the conversation with them as well. But I have had a lot of people tell me that they appreciated, getting color around the city and the neighborhoods. It's like you said, especially if they're not here.
Right.
What else can make a day fun? If you could give one secret to having a fun day house hunting, what would you say is that most important thing or that one secret that people wouldn't think about?
I don't know. I think just go into it with a good attitude that today is the day that you're going to find your dream house. I mean, it's your one day to play, or not one day, but it's your day to play house hunter and really get to enjoy it. So I think just go into it optimistically and be excited about it.
I love having the optimistic attitude. That is good advice. I appreciate that. Awesome. Well, Jeanette, thanks for being our guide on how to have a fun day house hunting. And it can be one of the most fun parts of the process for sure. So we appreciate you guys watching. We will see you for the next one. And Jeanette, thanks again.
Thank you.
All right. See you guys later.